I'm here. I'm here, guys, if anybody's there. Give me a second. All right, so I'm going to give you a little sort of an update. I'm here. I'm here, guys. Tell me if you can hear me down here. Sound check. Sound check, please. Oh, good. Thank you, Hermit. I'm watching already. That's good. So I'm going to give you an update. I've been really working on this rotation cable things, and got to go with the data, right? So this, let me tell you where I'm leaning first. And tell me if I got to speak up. I'll come back and look in a minute. Let me show you where I'm leaning first. I have to use, and this car is going to be important to us, I have to use another structure to do it. But I'm leaning the bridge failure starting here as a result of one cable being defective or at the end of its life. And of course, it's the other structure because I can't find, I limit it. This will help me explain why we get rotation on this deck, why it didn't fall down, why we get rotation here also on this side. This is really bothering me that we get a full flip and rotation. I can't have my cake and eat it too, guys. I can't have a full rotation and a full flip and a rotation because this implied cable is doing two things. It can only do one with this failure. So I think I've worked it out. Let me see if I can share this with you. Let me go back to the structure. So let's go Genoa bridge. I need to show the real structure because I did it with the existing one like that. The one was existing, and my brain just kept getting it backwards. And if I'm doing this live with you guys, I don't want to get it all twisted up again. So we need this one in place. That might work for me actually. Okay, I think I will make it work for me. Kind of gives the view from the cars. So this, yeah, I think I can make this work. Let me see if you guys are there. DOS, Bona, thank you. So anyway, the cars are coming down here, la la la. This struck this one here, these two. First, let's get some bases. This is where the truck stopped. This is where this part of this decking here did a rotation and landed on the ground. To get that rotation, it's this side. So this side that landed into the building below. This section here is the one that did the rotation on this side of the structure. To get that rotation, we still need this connection. I showed in other videos how this would have broke free. That to get the rotation on this side, we also have a rotation of two pieces of decking. See the expansions? All right, so the expansions will help us out here too. The expansions are your weakest points, obviously. And this, I think, would be a weak point. So I can't have my flipping of these two cables, as I spoke of earlier in the video. It's pretty elegant, I think, but I can't get the rotation of the deck in doing my elegant way of that reverse flipping. So I worked on this and worked on it. Now I think I can make this work. So if we weaken this one here, this one member here, and over time they still use the bridge. They don't even know it's failed because it's internal. The cabling is. It's internal and trucks are driving on it. This night we get rain and we get a bunch of vehicles going slow, bumper to bumper, etc. Dead loads are increased on the bridge at that point because the extra the slow traffic piling up, stacking traffic. Let's see if I can just go from here and finish talking. So right about here between this cable and the vertical member, the vertical member that connects, and this is totally to scale, but obviously because of the angle, I can't get you scaled up properly. Say the vertical member is right back here for scale reasons. So between here and all the way out to here, since this isn't working, the loads are being transferred from this side of the structure. Well, to right about there, I think there's an expansion joint here. I do not think these bridge structures rest on the cross members, like this member here, underneath there. I do not think that's a redundant factor transferring a load down to here. over to the side pylons. I don't think it. I think I found an image where it saw daylight. It doesn't matter one way or another, because I'm still going to have this rotation going on. So the trucks are stacked up. The load is excessive here. I did find if you drive across this bridge using Google Earth, you saw a crack in the ground here, a crack in the asphalt that was significant, maybe 2-3 inches wide. The gap was pretty significant, and it was not at a control joint, indicating, and it went through that to crack that much asphalt, you're going to be cracking the subsurface. As I showed in the previous videos, this asphalt looks to appear to be 8 inches in thickness. So to crack it, you would crack the base, and whatever you move the base by, you're moving the asphalt by. That was right about there somewhere. And how do you crack the top of this? Well, the top of these can fail in theory only, and not the bottom, as this is a box setup. Remember, the girth, the size of this thing is huge. The inside internal members here. To make that crack, you're separating you're having a dip. But you can't have a dip, right, and have a crack, because then it would be compression, it would be closed. How the hell do you get that crack opening? I couldn't get underneath of it. I couldn't get underneath the other side of it. It was, right, guys, I couldn't get underneath the other side of it and look up, because it was on this side of the structure. And incidentally, wow, now I'm talking to you live, incidentally, that's where the crack was, on this side. You guys can take a Google Earth camera and look down at the ground as you go across, and you'll find this crack. Perhaps we'll look at it ourselves. By driving down there with the Google Earth button. So I said I wanted to crack over the bridge, I wanted to come over here. Well, I just find it amazing it only went so far, but I couldn't find it on this side using Google Earth. It's not saying it's not there. Let's get away from this now. Let's keep on moving to get you your rotations. We see some structural, some road repair. Also, the dead weight of this, how much dead weight was allowed on this structure. DOS, there were 2 UK women driving over the bridge, said road tilted right. They abandoned car, then ran back into the tunnel. I was thinking the same thing about the tunnels on both sides. Tilted right, so that was sort of something I said in the other video. Did they line up, right? Do they currently line up? Meaning the whole thing to add a little torque to it. But, there's a but here. I mean, we just keep moving. So here's the underside of the collapsed side, but it's the wrong side for me. That's the part that rotated. That's the part that fell into this building. The other side is what I want to explore with you. This side over to the left. And if we 100% know this thing is upside down, we'll get to those. There's a car inside there. We'll get to the car and how the car might have driven into it. Yeah, this is the one that's going to throw me off. I'm going to use this one. So this is the vertical support, and this is that fulcrum idea. I said spun around, but wow, that's a tough one for me. What I didn't consider was that if I can keep this as a seesaw effect, the back side of it, that would slow this rotation as it comes around. Problem I have with that is that also raises this ass end of this bridge way up in the air. If this is in place at the time of the rotation, to get the rotation in the air, using this as the rotation. And we need a rotation to flip this deck onto its bottom. And if I break it here, I get the rotation, but I also get, if any vehicles on there is doing this, that event ride going way up to here and then coming back down. And I guess, I don't know if the car would stay on it per like one of those circle arcade games, or would it just get catapulted away? I don't know. But the car did have a driving force going forward, so would that make it stick to the bridge? And when it flips over, we have a car. We would looking at a car's headlights at that point, facing us towards the center of the bridge. So that's evidence I've been looking for, and I can't find it. Which would mean it probably was here, and then by the time the bridge is a flip over, it was here, and the bridge crushed it flat. And it stayed on the bridge because of the forward momentum, literally driving and doing it. But that would give us the rotation. If I don't do the way I said, where we back this around, and I actually don't like that anymore because I can't get my rotation of this, guys. If I use that cable for that, for rotating the structure, to flip this over, well, I can't have my cake and eggs too. I can't get rotation of this. You know, I can't get it. I thought that an action flipping over, you know, could I make it? Imaginarily, I can make it. No way I can make it really happen in my mind. So how would I get this turned and this turned? Well, they had to be connected. These two fail together. This section and this section fail together, guys. 100%. This is one of those deals I'm talking about, 100%. These two fail together. Watch how I follow this. Watch how you follow this. If the cable's connected here to right here, right? And that's connected back to this, flip it over, right? Connected back to this structure here. If this can fall away, we then have this section here connected. And I don't mean fall away fully, just break away a little bit. As this tries to fall down, we had that outside failed on cable. The outside cables fail. So that means we can get a rotation now. It's no longer helping it. If it did work, if the outside cable did work, we would just get a complete flip over again like this. But if we have the outside one failing, this would be the north side of this image, failing first, now we can get this thing still holding on. As it's trying to fall, imagine it all together up here in the air. As it's trying to fall, it wants to rotate because the cable's trying to hold on to it. As it rotates, it tears this apart at this expansion joint and at this expansion joint. It tears it apart, sending it with a force downward. But that should put it out here, not under here, right? So that means as it tore it apart going down, and I can get this thing flipping, it had to have a secondary impact as it was going down while these two were still connected to drive it forward, to drive it underneath the structure a bit. And then still connected here, breaking the expansion joint, coming back. So we got like an action like this. I'm exaggerating it, but we got an action going this way. That would drop this off there. This would return this to this, showing no debris field between it. The cable would snap, dropping this to this location. Dropping it, what do you see? First, not last. It appears not to have been no debris of this on top of this. So it went down first. This having to go second. Let's go for that now. Let's go for that. So I'm going to get to that car. This having to go second. Am I getting to the car now? Let me use this video then. I guess I have it up for a reason. So we need this cantilever. We need two brakes too. We need a brake here and on this member. We need a brake down there, actually severing like this guy here. This would give us a cantilever, right? We would need a fulcrum, but wow, I wish a video was present to show this. Because we have a brake up here. We don't have the brake on the ground happening here, this thing standing up in the air and braking on its own dead load. Because if it was there, it would be lying on top of that structure on the ground. So we have to brake this in the air, guys. But then we need a secondary brake to brake these all equally again. And I thought about their dead load of these. Could they brake under their own dead load? Possibly, but we'll show images. We need the fulcrum. So this would give a slow seesaw rotation up in the air after this already failed. Perhaps that, and I don't know how that a secondary bump to push that bridge over happened yet. But we get our rotation. This is the part where the car is at now, right? The underside of it. This came around. This is my secondary bump into this. If this could stay in place, this and this counterbalanced, if you will, it would give us a nice rotation. It would have to pick up some speed, though, to rotate around to do this full rotation and take a drop. What would be my material that would tell me this, guys? You know what it is? It's rebar. If I could see the bottom of this member and I saw a hook, we could then say, or on this one, if we can find a reverse hook, and I'm doing it live with you, if we can find a reverse hook here, on this here, or here, if you guys can find it, if you find a reverse hook that shows that it took the, and that would be on all of them taking the same reverse hook of reinforcement, that would show that a rotation took place in the air on that one. Let me share that with you, with that statement, so hopefully you guys can find that. But we need rotation, and this is just a drop. As we know, this is This material shows inbound. How did I get here? Oh, it's a live video. All right, let me pause that for me and just look at your comments. I can't. It's give me a second, guys. Freezing on the screen here. So did the wind lift the deck? I doubt it. Only 17-mile winds. I saw somebody else make a YouTube video on that. Wait a minute, I'm confused here. I've got two screens up. Give me a second. I don't know what's going on there, but all right, let's go to the video and then the car. Well, let's talk about the car first. This car is an interesting topic for me. Both of them. Let's hit this car. This car took a nosedive or a backwards dive, right? It rotated around, maybe hit the brakes and spun it around. Who knows? But it went backwards. This one's more nosedive-ish. At some point, did it? So this is showing you that this bridge had to be in place. You can't take the failure, guys. The failure is on this side first. No one else is saying it. The failure is on this side first. We can't have this vehicle here on the underside of this bridge, where this we know is the other side of the bridge, without this failing first and this guy driving off the bridge, literally driving off the bridge, this side of the section onto the underside of that rotated section. Let me help you out with that. So there's the car here. The bridge fell down, straight down. How's the car get here if this flipped over? No, this section, so we know now that this section failed first. There's more clarity on it. And is the vehicle being in here? This bridge still being intact somehow when this guy manages to drive off the bridge and into here. And another car followed suit or together, right? And let's go with that. There's the vehicle. There's the car that's upside down. There's the crane removing the debris. There's the bridge upside down. That's the asphalt. That's the vehicle. So as we're on the bridge here, he drives off the bridge still. So this shows that the left side of the bridge failed first as we're looking at it. Well, whatever side. It shows this side of the bridge failed first. If you guys don't know what side this is, train track side. How's that? So this shows it fell first. The bridge was still intact when the guy was filming it on the right side. And this vehicle drove off to hit here. Now, he could have driven off, or she could have driven off. People call themselves its now, right? It could have driven off while the bridge was still doing a rotation. And that's just a shit ride down, isn't it? You ride the bridge down, and perhaps they lived. This represents that this bridge is very stable. There is no movement. You figure out when this house was built. These structures were built. I know people are trying to look at this as a negative. It's a positive. You find out when these homes are built, and you see that they're actually touching it, literally using mastic of some type to adhere and touch to this bridge, and yet you see no crinkling of this apparent metal. Nothing. This bridge is very stable, guys. That is very, very stable. You can look at this guy's video if you like. It's called right here. I'm bouncing out of it. No matter how you cut it, this is not a negative. This is a positive. You couldn't ask for better at that height, elevation, vibration. It tells you a lot. A better indicator than the structure. You see no cracks across it, no crumbling, no movement. So that's my position on that. Thank you for sharing it to someone else who shared it to me. I don't know who it was. That's something I'm working on painting. I like painting. I told you that. Cars for a little hobby, my own vehicles. So that guy took the ride down. It took the ride down. Here's the flip deck. There's the ride down. This is the first failure of the deck. What do we call this? I think this is actually north, south, west, east. This is the east side of the bridge, as I understand it, the way they look at it now. So if I could call this the east part of the structure, not the photograph now, for clarity. This gives me my rotation, the flip. The only way I can get the flip now, if this gives me my rotation, I can only get the flip now, guys, by that brace being in place. And then it rotating around, taking a secondary bump on this structure here. Or it did its rotation, fell down, and these guys took their own break. Their own break at this point, which I would find pretty damn amazing on themselves, because it gets wider at the base. I just don't see it. Again, here's the car, took the ride. You can see that apparently that this breakage is not just it flipping around. Let's think about that. So if this guy, the flipping in the air, right? I said that this would be a secondary break down the bottom. As I'm talking to you live, well, this car, if this was a secondary break, this car missed one of those points because we have this crushed in over here too, guys. So this is why I'm coming with the secondary break here and here. Not this one, because maybe the uprights out here that got bumped. Remember, the uprights are kind of in weird places, the 4 verticals. 2 on the outside, right? 2 on the outside. The 2 on the inside, I don't recall them actually hitting here and here. I wish we had more drone images to show this tighter. This is where I would be looking for cracking at this point in here too. But if it took a rotation around and he was there, well, you think this car wouldn't be at this position. It would take a bump and the car would be where I'm standing now. Perhaps the car, 2 cars went down and this is where the second one is and this one got entrapped. That's an interesting detail. Let's run this video, and this is going to be the right here, guys. Oh, I couldn't have paused it better. You know how long hard it is for me to pause this crap to catch this stuff. This is on this side of the structure, showing that when this failed, well, we know it failed because the other side it was in balance. But this here, guys, is the end of the bridge where the truck stopped. It's still hanging on, so this means the bridge did not start at this point, and it's going to disappear. I know we want to look at this. This is going to disappear away, and then you'll see a cable pull away this direction. Possibly that cable is the one that does the rotation of that end of the structure down here. And I'll look at your comments and play that video in a moment. Morning from Australia. Scott, come on, man. You got nothing smart to say? Das, there were 2 UK women, right? Hermit. So did the wind lift today. What's up, Scott? Get up. Go back to sleep. So we go back to that video. And this is awesome to catch this. You want to catch it, guys? It's 0.29. I don't know what fraction after that. But watch this. It's going to disappear. And it's going to only be here for a quarter second or so. That's showing you the connection there. But we already know the right, left, well, they call it east end of the structure, as I have figured out, or what I think I figured out. And this would be the west end. So the east end of the structure failed first. But here is this, guys. Watch this part here disappear. It's a structure. It's a bridge. He's videotaping this, right? But watch that go away. And it's gone. And you see it's now gone. That's that falling onto that structure at that point. At this point, we see 1, 2 cables. This is a better image for me, guys. It's loading. I couldn't catch a secondary cable. I had the secondary cable. This cable is still connected, draped. This means it broke free down at the other end, right? The rotating side. So this sort of supports my topic if this is the tower that's furthest away from us. You know, as I look at this, it's really tough to figure out my depth of field. So that appears to be 1 cable at this point, but obviously apparently there's 2. There's the concrete breaking out. Intention, perhaps. And I don't know, guys. This one fell that direction. Is this the? I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter which one is what. Okay, so that falls back into the left, guys. Back and towards us, rather. This, I think, I think I know where this is now. I think I called it in one of my videos. I called this one of the bars. I'm starting to think now it's the tower. It's a long piece. It falls last. It hits the ground last. It hits the ground last. Let's play this video out. Hits the ground last. It fell backwards. It's going to be behind here on the ground. Let the video play out. Got good images. He's smiling, happy as can be. This person's parent is alive. Cut on the foot. Shoes are off. Huh. How much evaluation they do there. Thermal blanket applied. You get hit by a car, sometimes your shoes will pop off. But in this case, he removed her shoes. I'm sure she didn't have the wherewithal to remove her shoes. Maybe she had to be pulled out that way, pulled out of her shoes. Literally, she's got all her little toes, so that's good. Let's bounce. Let me show you that image of that last piece I said on the ground. The last one that fell, I believe, now I believe it's no longer a bar. I think it's this lady here. I don't see anything up there. All these cars are parked up there, right? When it took a dive down. This one there, do I get a better shot of that? Apparently not. Apparently not. This goddamn thing fell on him in a truck. He was knocked out instantly. He is not a witness as far as just knowing something in his vehicle. The glass knocked him out. The windshield knocked him out immediately. As that's what I told you guys. You never feel it. You never see it coming. All he knows is that the report is that the glass hit him and knocked him out. Doesn't have anything else to add. That piece that came down, I don't know. I might have to stay pat on that. I'll hold my hand on that one. Okay, so now we see that the rotation. Let's get away from that. I'm not done with this video, believe it or not. That's because I'm caught up with what I was explaining. This car took a dive into it, explaining again that the left side of the structure fell first, or they call it the east end. This side fell first. This explains the rotation. This would have to then only rotate by pivoting off the top of there, the two brakes, and get us a better shot of that. That's what I can do. And somebody's getting excited about that. We already went through that. That's just a fake repair. It's a fake something, I'll tell you that. Not structural, that's for sure. And this one's not looking too good. That's a dead person. That rebar, guys, that's what we want to find, that bending of the rebar. Oh, so this would support that could it rotate from that height? They can do a total 180 if you will. Yeah, 180 from the top. Well, apparently it can. This is stripped off, straight up and down. And so at that height, it did a rotation and dove down straight. And here's the elongation of these guys straight in the air. So this would help support that you can get a 180 at that point with the loads, that they just don't fall like like you dropping something in the midair. That they can do a rotation. And here's our rotation. There's that piece right there, the broken nodes, and the vehicle would be. They remove the vehicle. Vehicle's here. Oh, there's a vehicle. Here's the alignment of that node right down here. Remember, I said I want an aerial shot, so that makes this clear. This person did not that this didn't rotate around, hit those four uprights, and cause that damage. It appears that, well, I guess it could have shifted a bit and caused this breaking in here. One, two. Well, I have this one. And we got four of those uprights, guys. Let's come back to the image. You got four of these. One, two, three, four. As this cantilevers and rotates around, it's going to hit the structure again. One, two, three, four. 4 points. Coming back to, can I go backwards this way? Let's try that. Nope, that's a fail. You know how hard it is to find those images? There we go. So there's your rotation. If the car went off the bridge in as this was laying here, you would think it would be missiles, right? That it would be straight up and down, but it had a forward momentum, perhaps crushing this section here and doing this deal here. And that would actually help them in the survival factor, right? Because it gave way, decelerating a little bit. So that's what I have on it for this, guys. I'll look at your comments. If you want to dispute this, tell me now. and then I'll go over that again. I would go over that again. Here we go. Very important. I don't know if there's any more video in there. Let's find out. And let's move that out of the way. There's your vehicle. So if you guys have any question about the dispute on that with me, let's talk about that dispute now. Otherwise, I'm counting every one of you as supporting members of everything I said, including, I'm not going to tease around anymore like that. All right, what we got here? Studies the pictures for a couple of hours after flying back from THL. Here's an idea to pick apart. Southwest end of west fan fails. Big torsional load on deck rotates and rips the deck out. One side south of the pylon takes full weight of the span and significantly bending load. And then the loading imbalance and takes out the tower. Road turning over like a seesaw, backing into it. A car on the upper deck drives down into the bridge structure as it's falling to the ground or as it's at the ground. It's located there now, and we can bet that the crews didn't put it there, right? By now, only one half pot, the pylon, is left to take the weight. Now there's a huge torsion load, twisting east span or imbalance due to sand dune, and the imbalance causes the failure on that side. At this point, there are lots of out of band forces acting on the remaining pylon. It fails, twists, and falls more or less to the north. Just turned in. Good, just turned in. Oh, just tuned in. Mark, shit, we were just wrapping it up. Mark, if you read here, these guys are affirming everything I said, so therefore they gave me my rubber stamp. We know this is going to be worth, Mark. Well, I don't know how long it is, Mark, but this is going to be worth every minute. This one is. You got to bear with it. This is worth the rewatch on this one. I'm tempted to pull down the previous one and keep this one up only because the previous one, I don't know if the previous one is as good as this one. I think I will make that previous one private. So I'm pouncing the previous one, and I might change the title a bit steal the previous one's title a bit and throw it in here because I think this is more refined, the rotation and all that. Studies a couple of hours, yeah, morning. Not just a couple of hours. This is in my brain, Sandu. This is not just picture study. This is in the brain. And okay, the deck failure, right? Let's get back to that. The failure again would be here, and I would say that would be in here. And this would, because we need a failure still. We need the overstressing, the creep, all this of the dead loads. Let's track the trailer. Let's put them back here, causing that bridge to break. I don't have separation yet, guys. So we've got a nice little mechanism, a way to explain a few positions of products, a car. We know this is secondary failure. This is the primary failure. I can explain that. I think I like this one. I'm not sold on it 100%. I like this failure on this one first, causing the break in the deck. I don't have the forward pushing away action going yet. It just falls away. I can't have that action going back forward again. I can't think of any cabling there that might act as a resistant force to pull it backwards. I mean, that's a thought. Some tensioning cables that are in this decking somehow that would pull back before breaking, and as far as the construction of it going across, that would be a nice little add-on. I'd love to find right here that guys, we would love to find the vent rebar. I don't think I should surf it here because it would make the video longer, but I can't help but take one hit, right? If you guys could find that bent rebar, that would show that the rotation took place in the air. That would be awesome. Two people climbing down, of course not. I can't help but play sometimes. And there's the rotate. Well, we don't have to worry about that yet. Anymore, rather. I think that's tasteless. We know people died. You know, that's disrespectful to the people alive. Not to this person, they're dead as shit. But the living members, that's tasteless too. Um, Here's that structure, guys. Here's the rebar. Damn it! You believe I can't get an image of it now? See if we can find a car under there. Maybe they removed. They've already damaged it in this video. This is where I'd want to see the rebar, and I can't even, since there's more structure here, and they were already on this jackhammering. We can't even trust this action. But maybe this we can. I mean, why would they be jackhammering over here? This is significant also, right? We would have, there's a quick piece of tool there too. Maybe the guy started jackhammering to break it apart, but what the heck? That could be anything though. It could be even on this building by now, telephone pole. I can't get my depth on that. Damn it, God, darn it, guys. We need to see this to see if there's got any bending rebar going backwards. This is where they're jackhammering, removing it at this point. This whole section here, as we go back, let's see if this goes back from this point. Oh, that was brilliant, right? Oh, I got lucky on that. Don't ask me how. I didn't do it on purpose. Accidentally on purpose. Same result. This is an interesting thing. It appears to be radiused round. That's on the side of the failure, in my opinion. That's also just the upright. What we'd want to is that bridge deck that they've removed already. We'd like to see that. Only got to see a bit of it where the rotation took place. That was on the ground, the asphalt. It's already been 86'd. What's this? Not sure, guys. Is that a connection? Is that my rotating cable? And that's the other metal bar there off the end? I think it is. And that might be the cable, which would show the rotation and then the braking further. Well, we see what's here. If we can see more of the image, we know where it failed. But apparently it did not fail at that point. So as that bridge, we can add to it as you did the rotation. In fact, if this was it, the end of that connection, that node, I thought it was in concrete, but hey, it's the only dissimilar metal. I'm going to bounce away from that so I don't corrupt the video. But here is, and I'll see your comments in just a moment. Here's the structure where the car is inside. Windows blown out, apparently. I don't see any cars there. Here's a topsy-turvy deal. I could have hammered into the ground first and then flopped over. Yeah, but you think you'd see a break here. You know, you would think that. This is the first of its kind. That is possible, right? That would get me my flip. But I got my rotation figured out, and we get the flip figured out. We also got a car inside there explaining how the vehicle drove off the bridge into the car. Yeah, how did that happen in my wording? How the vehicle drove off the bridge into the bridge. And that's a hell of a statement. The vehicle, for Mark's sake. Kai, the number of minutes your videos are watched matters to how YouTube recommends you. You should leave your videos up. Okay, I have to go. Bye, Scott. Be good. Well, it's going to be hard for you, but try. Please wait on making it private. I'm a quarter way in it. Okay, Jeff. Jeff, I think you're going to get better data from here, but okay. Good thinking. Then I'll put a comment on it. I'll leave it there because I don't want to do that to other people too. So I'll put a major comment, pin it. I already pinned another guy's comment there. I guess I'll have to unpin his, which look like I'm taking back my pin, and tell people, please see this update. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing on the on the blue vehicle, but it was raining. This vehicle up here, and worse than that, what if it had a like mine? I have a dash cam, but it will record over. So if this guy left his truck running, you're going to see nothing but a void bridge at some point. It's going to record over. You could try to recover the file, probably won't work. I'm looking for that to end it with the screenshot. video of car. This one. I don't know if I'll use this one or great or the other one. Or this. Oops, that's nothing. I can drop that. Or well, that won't let me. I don't want to reload that. Or this one. No, that's what happens when I try to do that. I can't get the image. And I've got to go to my Twitter and amend that video also. That one I'll just drop on Twitter. All right. Anything else you guys want to say before I do Harry Houdini on you guys and disappear? So the failure would be over here again. Not this is that one that hasn't failed, but discussing it in this format. This bar failing, weakening the deck, the failure of, well, we flipped over, right? So the failure would be here then. Wherever this thing flipped at, whatever's remaining, I'm saying the failure is at that point. The initial failure of the deck. And I'm sort of sticking to this one, guys, that the initial failure of the deck is here. I'm eliminating this as any part of this being a failure. It would just fall free, goodbye. So I can't count the failure from here to here. It's intact. It's too nice. I have to get a road. If you count the failure here, okay, so you got a break in the bridge there. The loads are still going down. I don't get a flipping effect. I don't get a separation here. I don't get any rotation. I just don't see it. But if I can get the failure here, the failure right here, I still have the deck under compression. That's the problem with all this whole thing. If you add the loads, though, vehicles transferring here, now we can get the actions of it moving, lowering, this cable breaking, of the vehicle's dead loads up here. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with Crisco. Then we get a rotation, a separation, continue rotation of this, because this side of the bridge rotates, it breaks free. We see this part on the ground, perhaps, if it's blue. Oh, that's right, this is the other bridge. That would be nice to see that, because apparently it looked blue and metalish. That would be something he's investigating still. Then we get this guy flipping over. As it's flipping over, though, if it flipped at that point, and if it was still flipping at this point, guys, it would go away. It would, the car wouldn't drive into it, would it? It would still have to flip over and almost be at this point when that car takes a dive off to get inside there. Or it's going to be totally on the ground. That car drove off like that movie where they drive off the Grand Canyon, whatever that's called. And it winds up there breaking the underside of one of these guys, stacking and coming to the end of the underside of the asphalt, the pavement. Good chance of survival on that, I'd like to say. At the engine, it didn't look like compression on the end, like the engine came up towards him. Had the tires to blow out first, take some of the load, deceleration stuff. And didn't fall the full distance. I don't know how thick this is, but take 20 feet off. This one. Yeah, but you did fall on the damn side of that you are on. Either way, you got a deceleration problem too. I forget the miles per hour. That if you come to a immediate stop, it's going to rock your brain. Your brain's going to get your brain's going to sever the synovial fluid, and all that's going to flow forward. It's going to come to an immediate stop. That's what you do not want, and that's what's going to kill you. Think of Jim Gardner, the newscaster from a long time ago. Parachute guy's body looked great. His brain took a severed his brain stem. That's what you do not want. You want some slow deceleration. Okay, coming back to here. All right, let me see what you guys got for me, and then we'll say goodnight, sweet princess. There is a cable. What T-stroke? Damn, Hermit, that's a hell of a thought. Then lightning strike him. You see the cable connection to the shot to the shot too. You got there for me? Yep, Joseph. It appears so, man. That there is no damn investigative team there, are there? They're like, clean this shit up. We don't give a shit about the people. And I said that already in the previous video. Oh, I like to add that to this one then. They don't give a shit about the people. You don't see them compensating them for cars, screaming, showing it all the politicians at the hospital, for the people there. Make that guy is out there by himself by his truck. You don't see somebody giving him a new truck. They collected all those tolls. They have some money. There's this, yeah, your insurance got to pick it up. You don't see all the compassion that you think a government would have. The government doesn't give one shoot about us. They don't care about us. Hey, you're just, our bridge fell. Now we got to get more money to put a bridge back, get our tolls back up and running. We lost taxpayers. How many taxpayers we lose? 36. Ah, damn it. We lost 36 taxpayers. Okay, where did they live? Oh, they didn't even live in our county. Oh, okay. We didn't even lose 36 taxpayers. Moving on. They don't care. They don't care. Mark. Yeah, they're probably more worried about the train back on schedule, as they even talked about, believe it or not. The recycling, they said in the newscast there, the recycling center was hit by this bridge collapse. I'm like, you know what? The bridge has just recycled itself then. It just turned itself in. Just go ahead and recycle it. Keep your doors open, keep on working. It could have been a lot worse for me to evaluate if it was wintertime and snow was on the ground, right? So luckily, we're at where we're at. Can I say goodbye to you guys? Unless you have anything else? 6 o'clock. Or if anybody wants to say anything or dispute what I'm saying, it would really help me at this point, because then I could fix it right now. If you see the people that are stuck in there, if you can see something wrong with my madness, don't talk too bad about my madness. Yep, hardcore. Well, they don't care about people. Remember, you start a war, you just use your people to kill people. You got more people there, and when you run out of people that voluntarily want to kill each other, then you make it forced killing. So they do a draft, and they say, "Hey, you guys will fight for our honor." Have a good one. Thanks, Jeff. Good analysis. Thanks. Good night, Sandu. Yep. I might post something later on about it's a job I'm at with some helicoils type product, and it's going into the earth for it's quite boring and quite interesting at the same time. So with that said, somewhere over here is since nobody's disputing anything I have to say at this point, I'm going to say stop broadcast in just a moment. I'm going to wait the 20-second delay. Yep, one man's mess is another man's opportunity. Yep. And be good, be safe, or whatever,